Welcome.
I just don't know what to do with myself.
Are you done?
That's it.
Welcome to Egg for What?
Wow.
The first and only podcast about people eating stuff. I'm your host, Mike Lisk.
You sounded like you were getting punched by a little kid. Like not even punched by a man in a bar fight standing up for a woman. You sound like you got punched by an 8-year-old.
Whereabouts?
It's this. Are you listening? You listening?
Yeah.
I'm Greg Wilson, and once again, welcome to Egg Foo. What?
We got to do some sort of an echo effect.
What? I can't do everything, Mike. Jesus.
Okay. Yes, we're back. Slightly delayed.
What happened, Mike?
Better late than never.
Is it?
I made a colossal blunder
Mm.
the other day, and we ended up doing a rehearsal for this show rather than an actual show.
Hey, the Hindenburg was a colossal blunder. This was a tragedy. I was on fire.
It was a tragedy. Yeah, you were riffing.
Funny.
You were riffing. And you took it hard when I had to inform you that I had not recorded the episode we had just thought we recorded. So we talked to each other for about an hour.
Yeah.
And it all went into the void.
I can't be just sitting. I can't just be sitting around talking to people.
No, God forbid.
Jesus.
I mean, I was entertained. You
had one job, and that job is to capture me.
I'll say this, even when it's not recorded for posterity, you're still on.
Well, that's nice, but that helps nobody.
So, with no further ado, we will proceed as if that didn't happen.
Correct.
And we'll get on with the show. This week, we are looking at Kung Pao, or as it was written on my menu, Kung Po.
Ouch.
Yeah, I've seen different spellings. Mm-hmm. I've seen PAO, and my menu has it as PO, which is one.
Will our great nations never come together? Too much. Just pick a spelling Chinese menu.
Yeah. And I actually did go to a different Chinese restaurant this week. I went to Campo Garden, also in Howell, New Jersey. I had heard good things about this restaurant from a friend, and so I said, let me try this out. Mm-hmm. And I got a very good vibe when I entered the restaurant. It's a family-run restaurant with children at one of the tables doing homework. I see that quite a bit in takeout restaurants, and I like that. I like to see the family pulling together, and all for one for all. Sometimes I've had 12-year-olds at the registers when I'm checking out. I like to see that too, developing a good work ethic.
Probably illegal, but none of my business. None of my business.
No,
none of my business.
I'm not going to drop a dime on them.
No, your family, your way. I'm just here to pick up some food.
Yeah.
You want your 8-year-old ringing me up? None of my business.
So I got a very good vibe, and when I got it at home, it was one of the best dishes so far.
I feel like Chinese food does. Maybe that's why it's so historically great in terms of delivery. It does hold together well. I think
it travels well. Yes,
travels well.
Yeah,
I feel like you can get whatever and let it even just throw it on the table, let it sit for a while, and whenever you get back to it, it's fine.
Yeah, no worries about French fries getting cold, pizza sliding into a corner of the box. None of that stuff.
No, we don't need to
hold together
on other cultures, but okay.
The containers are well designed.
Oh, I was thinking the other day, I was sitting outside having maybe the worst slice of pizza in the world, and I saw a group walking by, and I could tell through their plastic bags they had the Chinese food containers.
Mhm.
It's like, wow, how iconic. Wouldn't it be great if like McDonald's or somebody just tried to overtake that? They just totally take away that part of it. Like we're gonna take the like super iconic Chinese containers and make it our thing. And it's fucking McDonald's. So what are you gonna do?
I think there was a time when ice cream may have come in similar containers. And I'll have to look into this further.
Hmm.
I think there was a time many years ago where you could get beer delivered in a container like that.
In the cardboard with the wire
Like a cardboard
beer,
container. Yeah, beer.
like containing cans of beer or containing beer.
No, just like, beer from a tap.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll do more
Yeah.
research on that, but I've heard stories in my bartending role from people, who have the history that beer, there was no bottles, it was just like tap beer.
Jesus, how far back are we going, Mike?
We're going back
Wow.
to, like the
Town
30s.
itself though only goes back so far.
We're
I
going
mean,
back to the 30s, 40s
beer.
in there. Yeah.
When they drank out of a bathtub, because was it because of prohibition? They tried to hide it.
I don't know. I think it was cheap. And, they assumed their customers had glasses that they could pour it in.
Huh.
And, they didn't have to deal with bottles and cans and all that.
It's also funny that is the most, when you think of delivery, you think of that setup. And when you think of all that stuff, you think of microwaving stuff, but they've stuck with the metal handle, which is the one thing you can't put in a microwave.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
although, I mean, it's being supplanted. I mean, I get most of my Chinese food now in these sort of plastic containers for microwaving.
The rice still comes in that thing, but yeah, they seem to avoid it as much as possible. So
I did go for the combination for this dish. I got the pork fried rice with the kung po and an egg roll.
Mhm.
Not for not that much more money, so it seemed like a good deal, and I was very content with my order. This for people looking for crunchy Chinese food, I would say this is your go-to dish. It has peanuts, it had carrots, crisp carrots, peppers, onions, that baby corn, which freaks people out. They think it's some sort of
like a baby
genetically engineered thing, but it's just baby corn. That's what it is.
It probably is genetically engineered. What are you talking about? Corn is probably genetically engineered at this point. What are you talking about?
And it has watercress in it and the peanuts.
What do you picture these tiny corn stalks? Well, mine wasn't crunchy at all because almost none of that existed in my Kung Pao chicken. If you fish to the bottom, you could find some peanuts, but there was no baby corn, no carrots, no watercress stuff, just dippy onions and peppers. So
I saw the photo.
Advantage.
I saw the photo of your dish, and I think it's time for you to seek out another takeout because that did not look appetizing at all.
No,
yeah, I didn't see one peanut. Somehow the peanuts were on the bottom.
Yeah, just swimming in goop. You could fish out a couple. I need to go back to the restaurant that started it all with this. Is wherever I got that egg foo young. I'll need to go back and look at my Uber Eats because I'm rich and see where that was because that was great. But for some reason, I've been using this other place, and yeah, just by looking at it, you can tell it's fucking disgusting. So
it doesn't even look that different from the broccoli and garlic sauce.
I wouldn't say that. That's insulting.
I mean, all I could see was like broccoli in it. And I was like, what's going on here?
That was grim. Yeah.
So I had a very satisfying meal.
Mhm.
I'm gonna rate this higher than Singapore rice noodle.
Ooh, that was your favorite.
Yeah, that's the favorite so far. I'm gonna rate this at 8, solid 8.
Wow. That is
leaving
high.
some room for some amazing dish down the road.
That is high. I will say I agree with you that I need to change joints because each dish is just ugh, grim. But I will say I'll put this in the same category as the Singapore noodles for myself. It was perfectly fine. I liked it. I think I ate most of it, almost all of it. Wasn't anything special. It's right in that category of me where I would never think to order it again.
Mhm.
But if I showed up and you're like, hey, here's some kung pao chicken, I'd be perfectly fine eating it. Just like the Singapore rice noodles.
Yeah.
I'd go about a 6. You know what? It's Paul McCartney's birthday tomorrow. So I'm gonna give it a 6.4 for 1964. Right in that nice sweet spot, 6.4.
Did you see who was on stage with your boy the other night?
Yes. Boo. I can't believe they played Glory Days. Did you watch it?
Yeah, Glory Days is some
Jesus.
sort of. I think that's I think Bruce is concluding that that's his biggest crowd pleaser.
McCartney's gonna be like Billy Joel a couple years ago got Born to Run, and I get Glory Days.
Hmm.
I mean, he seemed to be okay with it, but
I mean,
But,
Born in the USA is still his biggest album, right? I mean, sales wise.
I would assume so, and probably by a lot more than we'd think. Like, I'd be surprised if it's even that close.
You're right.
I know you
think it's
super fans like to think it's Darkness or whatever, but I bet you Born to Run is a little way ahead of the others.
yeah. So I think he's thinking that I'm going to do something from Glory Days. That's got the broadest popular appeal. I can't go wrong with something from Glory Days.
There were. Are you doing Bruce right there? There were 700 singles from that album.
Yeah.
It's not like the others were obscure. Like I saw he jumped on stage with Coldplay last week.
Yeah, he's jumping on stage with anybody lately.
And I was like, oh, they said, oh, we did Dance in the Dark. I was like, oh, great. And I try, and it's like this slow, mopey. And I get up and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, thanks for showing up, boss. Thanks, buddy. So I don't know, but for all I know, that's McCartney's favorite Bruce song, which I doubt, but
no, I doubt too. What about the Beatles selection? Was that did that pass the Greg Wilson test?
The Beatles selection?
Yeah, they did Glory Days, and they did
Oh, I Want to Be Your Man.
I Want to Be Your Man.
Yeah, that's fun. That was fun. I didn't listen to all of it, but yeah, that's a fun one to pick.
Oh, there's already a clip. I haven't seen the clip yet.
You can't fly Ringo out for that?
Yeah, does Ringo join them regularly?
Well, actually, he's on tour too. I just saw pop up. He had to shut his tour down because of COVID. So I don't know. We can't get those two together. Like, someone should pass a law that once a week or whatever, they need to get together on live TV and just hang out, and we get to watch them. They play a couple songs, do some skits if they want. They should have to hang out with us once a week, because they're not getting any younger, literally. Tomorrow's the big 8-0.
I was working at MetLife Stadium the last time he came around, and it was very enjoyable. You know, I was in a good location. I could hear the music very good. I mean, you're not allowed to really go out and look at the stage, but I did sort of sneak a peek a couple times. They gouge out your eyes if if you deign to look at the show that you're working, like a sweaty slob, under the worst imaginable working conditions. God forbid you look at
all right, Mike Lisk, folk hero. Here we go. When's that song coming out?
I mean, for the most part, I didn't care to look at the bands, that I was working with. I mean,
how close did you get to seeing them?
Well, like I said, I was in the upper deck, but the sound was good. I was in a location where the sound was good, and that was I don't need to see him on the big screen prancing around at 77 or whatever he was at that time. And it sounded great. He's doing all the hits. It's exactly what you would want. So I didn't feel compelled to go see this show and lay out whatever it is, a couple $100 probably, right? I mean, that's what it starts at.
I'm sure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so, I'm not the super fan that I needed to see him for $200.
What would you say your top three McCartney songs are?
I really loved, I mean, I remember when it came out, Band on the Run.
Well, let
Uh,
me hold on. When I say McCartney songs, I mainly mean Beatles McCartney songs.
sorry, I thought
Nobody thinks less
I thought
of
you were including everything.
nobody. No Beatles freak thinks less of their solo careers than me.
Okay, but
You can include them, but just to be clear, you can also include his Beatles songs.
I think I may not have even been into the Beatles when Band on the Run came out,
Mhm.
and so I like that album a lot. I like that song a lot. I still like it.
Uh-huh.
There's some good songs on that album.
Mhm.
But that song, In My Life,
What'd you say?
is that a Lennon song?
In My Life?
Yeah.
Oh my God. The rest of this is under protest.
I,
mean
I
this
don't know.
episode, I mean from
I
now
don't.
on.
I'm not like the fanatic who knows which is which, right? I know. I
Alright,
know the
alright.
later Lennon songs. I don't know all the early Lennon songs.
Yeah,
That's a Lennon song.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
it's got the vibe of a McCartney song. Let me hear your three, and I'll think about it some more.
Well,
Because you got them right at the top of your head, right? I mean,
now you caught me off guard. Well, first of all, Hey Jude. I mean, I even feel like the older I get, the more I love Hey Jude. The more that whole 4-minute ending means to me and how great it is, how brilliant it is. Like to even think of it, and then after it went on for 4 minutes or whatever, they're like, yeah, we're cool, because something they were probably just doing, goofing around or whatever.
mhm.
The older I get, the more I love Hey Jude. Obviously, I love Let It Be. For No One's a super slice.
Eleanor Rigby.
Ellen, I was just gonna say that's another one. I love it, but the more I go along, it's even better somehow.
Is
I heard a great
Paperback
story
Writer
with
his?
that. What's that?
Paperback Writer.
I love Paperback Writer. Now, the problem with that is the flip side is Rain, and I can't help but put the two of them together. And Rain, I just love better. So,
Okay.
but I'd say I'd say those. I heard. Did you watch the 3-2-1 thing on Hulu with him?
That was the one with Rick Rubin, right?
Yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah, I goofed on it with Rick Rubin and his
Yeah.
with the tapes. The
Yeah.
tape is a bit much in his shorts.
And then pretending he hadn't heard the same stories 9,000 times. What Paul? You dreamed? Yes. What you dreamed yesterday? What?
There were literally shots of like right up Rick Rubin's crotch, wearing those shorts. He's sitting on a stool or something. I mean, that's kind of the most memorable image I have from that. That
Well,
he.
I mean, if you freeze frame it long enough, I guess. I don't. That wasn't a part of my.
He couldn't even bring
at all.
himself to put on long pants in the presence of Paul McCartney.
Yeah, that didn't bother me. I
He
didn't
looked
spend
like he
any
just
time.
rolled out of bed.
Yeah,
And
I didn't think about his jean shorts at all, to be honest.
it was a visual image that it's going to take me a while to shake.
But I put Hey Jude, like I said, the more I live this life, the more I put Hey Jude on like an even special outside of the Beatles thing. It just gets better. And also, and this is this is sad to think about, but imagine when he does die, there's going to be a billion people singing Hey Jude over for hours. It's going to be beautiful. You're not a sentimental wuss like me. I'm going to be bawling the whole time. You'll be making fun of me for bawling, but
I've never seen
beautiful.
I've never seen you cry.
You haven't been paying attention, Mike. You've never seen me, but haven't you heard me?
I've seen you do a lot of interesting things.
Crying is not one of them.
Crying wasn't one of them.
But that's gonna be amazing. Everybody on the planet is gonna be singing Hey Jude. It's like, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna be Hey Jude, not a. Yeah, I guess that's the one.
Well, it's tough to beat that, nah. They're
Yeah,
not gonna sing the fucking the part of the song.
right.
They're gonna do the nah, nah, yeah. Like, I
Is
don't know
it-
if they would have sung. I mean, John Lennon, they had 100,000 people standing around Strawberry Fields thing, but I don't know what if they were singing. I don't know if his songs lend themselves to that. Other than like Give Peace a Chance had that whole anthemic thing to it.
uh,
I don't know if he really, his style kind of lent itself to that. I don't know. McCartney just has that natural, we're all going to sing this together kind of thing.
Now, we also have something in common where I've shared my brush with meeting Bruce Springsteen at the Record World in Seaview Square Mall
Mhm.
in Ocean Township with people before. You've met Bruce Springsteen backstage.
Yeah, I didn't bump into him at a record store. I met him as a peer. Now we're coming up on 20 years. That's March 2003. That's coming up on 20 years since I met Bruce and his mother
Oh yeah, you met his mother. Yeah.
and his sister and his uncle. Now,
Oh, okay, you've met the whole family.
well, no big deal. Mike, it's still just me. Don't freak out, bro.
Okay.
And I do remember when he was like, yeah, my sister's coming. Because it was just the five of us and Bruce in his dressing room all by ourselves.
Wow.
And yeah, I thought it'd be like a meet and greet. He runs through, slaps you five, but it was just us. And he mentioned, he's like, yeah, my sister's coming. Because this was in Jersey.
Hmm.
And I knew that his sister was a lot younger than him. Like, I think if he was born in 49, I think she's like 15 years younger than him.
Hmm.
So I started thinking, what if
What
what
if?
if what if when I meet her in a minute, we just fall in love?
Yeah.
And it's, that's my life every Sunday. Hey, we going to your brother's house for Sunday dinner? We going to your brother's for Thanksgiving? We going?
I didn't realize you were alone with all of them. I thought
Yeah.
you were
it
with
was
your
incredible.
friend, my
Yeah.
friend Matt, and
Matt, Hope, yeah. And buddy Dave from Marah, who was responsible for the whole thing, obviously. Yeah, I thought it would just be like hey, how you doing? High five. Because when we first were brought to his door, there was a lot of people. And Patty popped out, how you doing? I was aloof. I'm like, I'm not here to make you feel. And
you're playing it cool.
I was like, yeah, whatever. Cool. And but then Bruce did pop out, shakes our hands, nice to meet you. And then he takes off. He's like, I'll be right back. And he literally starts running down the hall. I don't know if there's something. He was born to run. And so I'm like, well, okay, that's our meeting. Somebody's gonna pop in now and kind of whisk us away now. But no, he came back a minute later, and next thing you know, we're in a room. It was me, Oak, Dave, Dave's buddy from Philly Ed, and just us. And yeah, just waiting for that sister to come walking up and us fall in love and get that sweet boss hookup of a lifetime.
So what happened when his
yeah.
sister arrived?
She came in, no sparks.
No sparks.
No sparks.
No sparks, huh?
No sparks. Like her mother and Bruce, she's 3.5 feet tall. And so that would have been something. But and then we had about 5 minutes, and then people started, filling in the room. So then we were like, all right, cool. If I don't get my Bruce time alone, I'm
Did
out.
you have access to catering?
There was a bunch of stuff laid out. We could have grabbed whatever.
What sort of things did you see?
I don't know. I was too busy practicing the line I had all set up to tell Bruce if I had a chance to speak, because I knew he had played. Bruce Hornsby had joined him in Richmond the night before. Because Richmond used to be his big hotspot back in the day.
Yeah.
And he played Richmond the night before. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to ask him about, I would say, oh, I see Bruce Hornsby played with you. So I had that nice and practiced, rehearsed. Meanwhile, we're on the bus, open hour on the bus going down earlier that day, going down to Jersey. And Dave calls me and he's like, hey, if you guys get here in time, you can come to sound check and hang out with Bruce. And I was like, what are you, crazy? I got the one line. I'm rehearsing my one line with him. I can't do a whole fucking stop and chat, hang out, you know. I'm practicing my line. Luckily, we didn't show up and, you know, we showed up. We didn't have to do that. But I said my line. I stepped forward like Matthew McConaughey in Dazed and Confused. I said my line. I said, hey, I saw you played with Bruce Hornsby in Richmond last night. Stepped back. He went on a bit for about 15 minutes. He's a great chat. Oh, he's great.
All you have to do is give him, you give him one line and you've got 15 minutes of non-stop talking.
Yeah.
That was my experience at the Record World, where basically all I said was, "Are you Bruce Springsteen?"
You said that?
No, I knew who it was.
I mean, at least say, "Are you Rick Springfield?" I mean, come on.
No, there literally was a poster behind Springsteen at the time from Darkness on the Edge of Town, right behind him. So I could do a matchup, look up there, look at the guy across the record bins from me.
Is that what he did? Just hung out in front of that for hours, hoping,
No, I've told this story many times, but I'll tell it again. He, you know how you get a sense of a person without looking at them? So I'm looking at records. Somebody walks behind me, and my sense without even looking at him was Little Creep.
Mm-hmm.
And this was before he bulked up.
Hey, that's your old high school nickname. You guys seen Little Creep? Little Creep, get over here. No, stay over there. Stay over there.
So then he comes around the other side of the record bins, and then he's right in front of me. Like I said, there's a poster behind him. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's him. So, you know, I introduced myself. My friend was with me.
That's how you sell albums, bro. You got to confront the folks.
No, it was very pleasant. I wasn't really a big fan at the time because growing up, I mean,
you're Mr. Jersey.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. In high school, you know, like everybody was playing that music. So it was like you couldn't get away from it to the point where it became kind of annoying. You know, it's like, oh my God, Born to Run Again. And, you know, and when Darkness came out, it was kind of even bigger. I couldn't get away from that album. So I kind of like it was overkill. I didn't really sort of become a big Springsteen fan until The River. And I kind of got into that record more, and I kind of appreciated what he was doing with the writing and stuff. And then I could then, you know, with time, as time passed, I could go back and appreciate Born to Run and Darkness on the Edge of Town, you know, after giving it some distance.
Right.
But we were talking to him. I wasn't such a huge fan. So me and my friend are talking to him. My friend was skeptical.
You weren't a fan, so you got to be cool.
Yeah, I was being aloof.
Are you
like you and Patty? I was aloof with Bruce. And so I'm playing it cool. And, you know, he starts yammering to my friend. I'm even walking away to continue looking at records while he's talking to my friend. That's how aloof I was.
Cool.
But at one point, and we've been talking to him for, you know, like 10 minutes. And we noticed people sort of noticed who it was, but they wouldn't approach him. Like I didn't quite understand that.
Talking to two teenage jackoffs.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. You know, what they think we were, you know, it was weird. There was a weird sort of wall where they felt like they couldn't approach him. And there's like 5 people in the store. There wasn't even that many people there. It wasn't like there was a crush of people coming at him.
Right.
That was a little weird. And then, you know, my favorite detail is when my friend, after all this conversation, and my friend's asking him stuff about royalties on albums. And he's the bizarre thing is Springsteen's telling him that he only makes a few pennies on every album, you know? And then my friend is still skeptical. He has the CID.
No, he did not.
He did. Greg, this is the most bizarre part of it.
Is this friend of yours on this call right now?
No. And the bizarre thing of it is
he did it.
That he did it. He produced his California license.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't even show us.
California license?
He had well, he was sort of back and forth at that time. He was back. His parents were out there, and maybe, you know, he got a license out there. But Yeah, it was bizarre, you know. And my friend actually saw him again in the same mall. He made
Jeez,
like
Bruce,
in a
come on.
department store or something. He kept running into him every time he went to that mall. I guess that was Bruce's favorite shopping center.
Bruce, give the kids some space. They'll buy your record. Just back off them.
And of
Jesus.
course, you know, he was by himself. I think my friend saw him in the parking lot. You know, he had like a white pickup truck at the time. He bought Peter Tosh's cassette,
I
of Bush
you told me
Doctor.
that.
He was a cassette guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't even buying records then.
He knew where the future was. Bruce
Yeah,
knew.
cassette tapes.
Hey, you're gonna get laser disc in here. Eventually, it's gonna blow your mind.
Yeah.
Later, the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
4 discs. Now, what would you do if you did run into Paul McCartney? This is Paul's day since tomorrow's his birthday.
You know,
That'd be tough.
well, you're a
Is there
super
more
fan.
rock royalty than him?
See, yeah, no, I know you're a super fan. You know, I'm a fan too,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't say I'm a super fan. You know, I'm curious about his music.
Right.
I haven't listened to all his solo stuff. There's so much stuff there that I've never listened to.
You're
You know,
curious about his music?
I'm still curious, like that last record he put out, you know, I listened to it and it had that song about the lavatory Linda or something, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was embarrassing.
A follow-up to Lovely Rita.
Yeah. Oh,
Rita's scrubbing the bowl now.
it was
Not so
embarrassing.
lovely Rita.
Yeah. So maybe
Shitter
it's
maybe.
better just to have those fond memories. You know, when I got those the Red and the Blue compilation albums
Mhm.
and discovered the Beatles, those were my entry albums to the Beatles.
But who would you put ahead of him in terms of, if you met him, you'd be like, okay, this is the absolute peak of rock royalty.
Well, it would
if
probably
not
be
as-
Bob Dylan.
Okay. Yeah. maybe, yeah.
And you know, I know somebody who met him, and he, you know, it sounded like he was very cordial. You know that it's a friend of ours, James. Did you ever hear James' story about meeting Bob Dylan? He met him.
James from Staten Island, James?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've heard that
I
story.
didn't want to say his last name because
Yeah, I'm not going to say his last name,
uh
but he met him. I guess it was outside the Hammersmith Ballroom,
mhm.
and there was a brief blackout of some kind.
Mhm.
And I guess so Bob Dylan was sort of trapped in his tour bus, and James kind of wandered over there, and there he was.
Then you talk to him?
Yeah, he said he chatted with him. I don't even know if he got an autograph. I mean, he does have quite a collection of autographs. He may
Yeah.
have got one. I'm not sure, but
He's the autograph king. He there's no way he didn't get one, right?
well, with somebody on Bob Dylan's level, I would think he might even refrain in that instance, because he's a big fan. He's a huge fan.
Yeah.
So he might even like say, "Hey, I can't believe I'm having this experience. You know, why
Yeah.
push my luck?" Because from
Yeah.
what I understand, it was like they had a very sort of nice, pleasant chat. You
Mhm.
know, it was very normal. I mean, I have heard other stories with Bob Dylan where it was not so normal.
You think while Dylan was playing a set, it bugged him? He's like, who's this little shit that was too good to ask for my autograph? No,
I don't know. I don't know.
As he's playing 100th song, nobody knows what he's singing. He's thinking, man, who was that? That guy must be a cool ass motherfucker. He didn't even ask me.
I just think
Wow.
I think Bob Dylan's just beyond all of that now. He's just, you know, I kind of, you know, I guess he wants to sort of do it to the end. You know, he's following in that tradition. You know, musicians who go to the very end.
Yeah.
So God bless him for doing that. You know, his voice it was always a, you know, I can
Problem.
understand people. Yeah, people may not like his voice, but now his voice is, you got to be really.
I don't know why he bothers with a band anymore. Like, if he's gonna do that weird thing where he just kind of starts and stops and does what he wants, and even the band has no idea what he's about to do, or just go out, just show up with your guitar and play.
I don't think
Like,
he even plays guitar very much now.
or
He
keys.
gets behind the keyboard.
Would
And
you rather see Dylan where he's just there himself with a guitar or keyboard, whatever he wants to do, or with whatever band he's got at the time?
no, I think he likes being a touring band. I think he does
Yeah,
like having a
I think
band.
you're right.
I mean, he gets the best musicians. You know,
Oh.
he gets these great guys. So I think he likes that whole part of it.
Yeah.
Um,
You're right. Dylan is up there, but I would not put him above Paul McCartney.
Really, okay.
But you're right. It's boy. You know,
Yeah, they're peers. They're peers. I
They're
mean,
peers. Personally, I haven't done a real Dylan dive in years. Like, I feel like at some point I was like, all right, that's enough. That's, you know, that's all. I got all I need.
so you haven't explored all these archive releases he's putting out.
No. I jump off after I want to say Tied to the Tracks. That's Soul Asylum. What
Blood
am I?
on the Tracks.
Blood on the Tracks. Sorry. Which might be my favorite of his.
Yeah, it's a favorite of
after-
mine.
Yeah. After, between or from his first to that, I love, and I'm not a big Blown Up Blonde fan actually. But after that, I can't do it. And I'm sure there's tons of great stuff. I can't do it. It's too much.
Certain periods are worth exploring, like the
I know I
box
had
set.
that big Time Out of Mind thing. I know all the box sets are a big deal. That's great.
The Blood on the Tracks box set is pretty good. I enjoyed that, even though, yeah, I mean, I generally don't have patience for 14 versions of the same song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a little off-putting for me. But that one, I thought there were actually some alternate versions that I thought might even be better than stuff that made the album.
Well, at least that one's interesting because you do have the contrast between the sessions in Minnesota and the sessions in New York.
Yeah.
So there's at least that that does make it a little more interesting. Because I'm the same way. I'm not listening to this 19. Oh, this one's no, it's not happening. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
But 80 years old tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, time flies.
What the hell are we going to be doing when we're 80?
I don't know.
Hopefully breathing.
See, I'm not, well, I don't give I was just talking to somebody. I said, I give myself about 20 years tops. That's about it. So that's in 20 years, I'll be 80.
Yeah.
So chances are I may not make it. So,
Yeah. I'm a little younger. I'm hoping to squeeze a little more than 20.
And Paul still looks pretty spry for his age, and God bless him, he still has color in his hair.
Well,
that's a little weird though, right?
but everybody's making a big deal out of he's able to sing, which is it is great. But I'm like, well, he's also fucking playing guitar and he's playing bass, which you can't fake.
Mm-hmm.
If you're, it's not like Bruce with his 12 guitar players. You can not play if you want. He plays lead a lot. So I'm like, wow, he's not just going up there and peace and love and singing and then out. He's an actual, you remove him, the band's not the band, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, no, I was thoroughly entertained the last time he came around by the show. I enjoyed it from afar. Let's put it that way.
Okay, we will. How else would we put it?
Yeah. So back to the why we're here.
Kung Pao chicken.
Kung Pao chicken. So I was going to say what we did the ratings already. Did you get a fortune cookie?
Nope.
No.
No. Well, number one, it was 2 days ago. And
you had 2 days. You could have you could have picked up one in the meantime, saying, "All right."
But one didn't get delivered.
I wasn't prepared for the last show, but I'll be prepared for this show. Now, in the rehearsal episode,
which was great.
I think it was better than this episode.
Yeah.
But
okay. The next one will be better. The next one will be great.
No, we didn't get to talk. Well, let me do my fortune first, and then maybe I'll get you. Oh wow, this is a profound one.
Uh-oh. Hit me.
All generalities are false. That's kind
That's
of
either
profound,
incredibly
right?
brilliant or incredibly stupid. Fortunately, I'm too dumb to know which is which, so.
Uh-huh. If
Lucky
I
number,
may provoke your memory from a couple days ago, you did a lengthy piece,
it was amazing.
a verbal essay, if you will, on La Choy, which
Uh,
sort of I thought about it after the show or the non-show,
I
we'll
love
call
me
it.
some joy.
And
Love
I
that.
actually did some research. I looked at the Wikipedia entry, La Choy,
Mhm.
and you want to explain your connection with La Choy?
Well, I don't want to call it a connection, but growing up, I loved the big chicken chow mein can. It had that part you'd screw off the top, or
Yeah, it was Chinese food in a can.
it was in a can, and you'd separate the cans and make the chow mein. Oh man, I love that shit. You get like a tub of it for $1 in college. Love La Choy. But the weirdest La Choy thing was when I was in Oxford, and one day I was at James, I think it's James Food Center. One is it, you're pregnant and smoking, you can walk through barefoot, no problem. It's one of those places. And I went to get my La Choy hookup, and I saw a chicken in a can, and it looked like a loaf of chicken meat, like you'd see in a deli, like they're about to slice it up.
Boneless.
It looked boneless.
Yeah.
You'd assume, and I was like, oh, that looks amazing. Like, just pull it out and slice it up. Or I was a young man, I probably would have just pulled it out of the can and ate it like an apple. But I'm excited. I get home, I crack it open, and I pull it out, and it's got like, I don't know how to describe it. These bones, but they were like splintered bones. They were like the length of pipe cleaners, but like splintery bones of cartilage or something just throughout it. I'm like, who the fuck is eating this? I'm
How
sure
do you
I
get the
sliced
meat?
my hand.
How do
picking
you
it
get
out
to
of
the
the can.
meat? We have to pick it apart.
There was meat. I mean, yeah, you got to pick it. I don't work at the fucking factory. I'm not picking this fucking thing apart. And it was 100 years ago, so you couldn't take a picture. But I'm like, now I look back and I'm like, maybe it was 1 million out of 1 out of a million. It was a factory fuck up or something. Because I'm like, there's no way a second person ever bought this and was happy with it. So that's
How
very
did you even prepare it, or you were
no,
turned off as soon as you took it out of the can?
no. I had to bandage my bloody stumps after I pulled it out of the can, and I'm sure just threw it away.
Uh-huh.
I'm not picking through that.
How much did you pay for it? Do you remember? A
No.
pittance?
No, I didn't keep my 1995 receipt ledger book. Jeez, sorry.
But I'm assuming, you're saying you were a starving college student, so
Yeah, well,
it seemed like you were willing to gamble on a possible
yeah, I'm sure it was
new
like 99 cents or
cheap
something.
protein source.
Yeah, I'm sure it was about what you'd expect it was, like
Uh-huh.
$1.99 or something like that.
But
Haven't seen it since. Now that I've thought about it for the first time in a while, maybe I'll start looking for it.
that wasn't La Choy though. That was some other brand.
I have a feeling it was a like local mom and pop. They made it in the basement brand of Chinese food.
Some
Or
southern fly by night.
a little too mom and poppy, a little too down home. I imagine it was one of those because, yeah, like I said, the grocery store itself is disgusting. So
What was the packing juices like? Was it
Packing
clear?
juice. Ooh, my old high school nickname. Packing juice. Packing juice, get over here now. Boys gonna see packing juice tonight.
Packing juice.
Look out, girls. Here comes
Uh-huh.
packing juice. Well, I don't imagine the packing juice a lot, but if I was, I think it was like brothy water, probably slime in it,
Was it gelatinous?
gelatinous. There was a bear fetus.
Would you compare it to like the gel that Spam comes in?
Well, it's probably less disgusting than that egg drop soup you had me try the other week. I'll say that. That's one for fake Mississippi La Choy. Congratulations, fake Mississippi La Choy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was floating in something.
I did learn today also that Le Choi is turning 100 years old today.
Today?
Oh, not today. This year.
Oh.
This year.
That would have been something.
Sorry. Yeah,
Mike, that would have
I
brought
made
the
it a
house
little
down,
too
probably.
specific.
Wow. Okay, now that is interesting.
100
100th
years.
anniversary, and we just happened to be doing
Yes.
a podcast on quote unquote Chinese food.
Yeah.
Now I say Chinese food, but when I just said that, I said Chinese food. Chinese food. How did I fuck it? Well, that might be something entertaining. Maybe our fans can have some ideas about what Le Choi we should try.
Yeah. I'm tempted. Well, I'll do this. I'll look for Le Choi at the supermarket, see if they have any 100-year anniversary specials, how they're celebrating this
My curiosity is piqued, young
this
Michael.
milestone. Well, when you mentioned that you had like I said, it was sort of Chinese food in a can, but
Yeah.
with chow mein, it makes sense. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just sort of glop that you can heat up. So,
Yeah.
but who's buying that now? I mean, there was a time where Chinese restaurants were like sort of scarce, not as plentiful as they certainly are now, I would
Yeah.
think, right? I mean,
I
you're
don't
more
know.
familiar with the South.
I mean, I can't remember the last time I went to an actual like sit down Chinese restaurant. To me now, they've become such a, you run in and grab it, and they're all takeout.
Mhm.
But the one I grew up on, Joy Garden in Richmond, that is my Proustian Madeleine
Oh,
restaurant.
wow. Again, with the Proust
Right?
references.
Let me slow down for you. Sorry.
How many shows
Sorry.
are going to have
You were
Proust
reading
reference?
Wikipedia about Le Choi, and I was reading Proust. I'm not going to apologize.
You've never
Yeah.
been to a PF Chang's?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah. They got yeah. That's really good. But Joy Garden it's straight out of Central Casting. It's right out of the 50s. The booths look like they're from the 50s. Everything is coming out of a flaming volcano. It's Long Island iced tea.
Uh-huh.
Pony
Where I
and cake for 8 cents.
Where I grew up, during the 70s, there were a couple Chinese restaurants nearby, and they were more sit down. They weren't takeout.
Yeah.
And everything was red. You'd go in there, and like you said, there's dragons, and they really were pushing the red polyester booths. It was just red everywhere.
Well, that was communism back then, right?
Well, the Red Army, they were getting a foothold in America. So Mao sent them out, his foot troops.
Whoa.
But anyway, yeah, it was a style that's gone out of favor. You don't see that style anymore.
Yeah. Maybe it's living in cities for so long. You just, when I think of Chinese now, just think straight of those little takeout joints. So, but it is very interesting, and I'm not a what do you call it? Like things happen for a reason or whatever guy, but I do feel like us doing this syncing up nicely with Le Choi's 100. Maybe we can pick up the phone and call Mr. Le Choi and say him on the show.
We've got this podcast. Would you like to sponsor us?
Yes, he would.
Our first advertiser.
Not bad. Le Choi. Le Choi, bringing you splintered bones in a bucket. That's supposed
apparently they're most famous, and this one was kind of a shocker to me. They're a business that's been around for 100 years. They're most famous for their soy sauce. And I'm like, can that really be something to survive 100 years if that's your leading item?
Sure. If you're pumping out bottles of it, by the gazillion, sure. Okay. Why not? And then maybe they're the ones behind all the packets you get.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you corner the market on soy sauce, you could probably do pretty well.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not surprised.
Think there's a lot of people cooking at home using soy sauce.
Maybe. I bet you in most homes, Not mine, but I mean like real adult homes. Uh, I bet everybody's got the thing of soy sauce tucked away in the pantry,
Uh-huh.
at some point, yeah.
With
And I
the
bet
canola oil.
you don't have to be like that, Mike. Come on,
Do you, do you,
don't be
do you have
angry.
do you have access to canola oil?
Don't be like that, Mike. Come on,
I'm picking something I can't even pronounce.
come on. You lost the soy sauce battle. Come on. No, I don't even know what canola oil is, so that's
Okay.
okay. But I think we should try to do something cool with LaChoy.
Okay, that's something for the future.
Isn't everything?
Okay, so you picked the last dish, so I'm picking this week's entry, and my
Oh,
question to you is, do you mushu? Do
no.
you mushu?
Which doobie you be? I have never mushooed, but I will be happy to for this. Mushu
Okay.
pork is the one I've always mushu pork, right?
Okay, yeah, I'm I haven't looked at any photos of mushu dishes.
Mhm,
They come in the various beef,
mhm.
pork, and shrimp variety. So I'm assuming it's some sort of glaze, like sweet and sour.
Ugh.
I am familiar with that.
All right,
Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. Maybe I won't be.
I'm
But
down for that. It sounds like I've heard of it. I've probably heard it in like a Neil Simon play or something. Somebody cut, it sounds like something I might like. So I'm
in
looking.
my Campo Garden menu,
Mhm.
the mushu gets its own section.
Ooh.
So
So
somebody,
when you go there and say, "Do you mushu?" You don't creep everybody the fuck out like you did me.
no, I mean, maybe I got to look at this chef specialties. Um,
Can juggle.
no,
And
the mushu didn't make the chef specialties,
yeah,
so I'll be able to get a large or a small.
yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh, medium.
No, I'm not even offered that. Mushu shrimp is $11.75.
I love how you talk about prices.
That ain't cheap. I better be getting a large portion there.
Oh, you were on blast. Chinese restaurant.
I'm giving them notice.
Yikes! Those little 8-year-olds slinging it for you in the kitchen there. They're gonna get nervous. Oh shit.
Well, this just gave me another idea where I can work an angle where I'll be promoting Campo Garden going forward.
Oh,
Maybe I can
get a little
talk
something.
them into, give me some free food once in a while.
Oh, Michael,
cut
you are
me-
scratching me where I itch.
Cut me some slack for the
Damn.
free advertising I'm giving them.
Yeah, I like it.
And
I'm
then
gonna go back to the. I'm gonna look it up and get the mushu from wherever I got that egg for young a couple weeks ago because that was great. So maybe
you gotta move on.
I got to move on from this dump.
Yeah.
There. So, it's not fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that
So-
broccoli garbage would be garbage no matter where from, but I feel like a couple of the other ones could have been better. So
Yeah.
talk about
the-
being on blast.
The photo
Oh,
evidence,
we are sticking it to these guys.
the photo evidence you've been showing me is not
Yeah.
is not appealing in any way.
Yeah. And what about my Chinese food dishes?
Yeah.
Now who's creeping who?
Yeah. Who's creeping who?
Do you?
So until next week, I'm Mike Lisk.
I'm Greg Wilson.
And next week, do you mushu?
Yeesh.